Just imagine. Okay, if you had this speed today, right now, okay, this call wouldn't have been possible. Okay, we couldn't have done this call. Okay, in this pandemic, I don't even think that anyone could have study online. Okay, it's not possible. Okay, the reason being, okay, on phone basically you cannot do that because you don't have reached till 4G, right? 0.3 Mbps you cannot transmit it. Okay, how can you transmit a video on this? Okay, let's say, okay, so then what did telecommunication engineer? They in 2001 basically they developed 3G and they boosted their speed to 42 Mbps, and that was the time I remember people were able to do the video calling, and that actually came later to us, it's in 2010 or so. I remember that people started having the video calling, and that could be done because 42 Mbps speed was there with you. Okay, I mean, this is something, the max speed, you never get it. Okay, that's the truth, and I understand why even like say Jio or Airtel, they can't give you. Okay, there's a lot of reasons behind it. Okay, but this is a maximum speed. I mean, theoretically, let's say if you are alone in some area and its tower is there and everyone else's phone is switched off, they can give you the maximum speed of 42 Mbps in 3G. Okay, then as you see, right, I mean, telecommunication engineers never stop. Okay, they keep on researching, and then in the 2009 they come up and they said, oh, we have 4G and I have boosted your speed by 4 times again, 250 Mbps. Okay, now they come in 2000 again, they do research by in 4 years, and in 4G plus LTE evolution basically they call it here, and they say that, okay, I have a speed which is around 1 GB actually, that much speed I can give it to you. Okay, man, and the last one is 5G. Okay, I was quite lucky that I got an opportunity to work in 5G, and I could see actually that how the basic things we kind of added, and kind of the 5G call could have been done. Okay, it was quite an achievement for us when we did it. I mean, I remember when this sprint was going on, I think around for 20 days. Okay, I mean, we didn't, I think I took a sleep only for maybe 3 to 4 hours a day. And it's not exaggeration, it's truth, I'm telling you. Okay, after that, of course, I took and company, understand that company gave me huge break that, okay, you worked so much, so you should take this much of break and all. But that was this is two part of it. One, we want to do it, and it was so engaging, so involving, right? I mean, we had a group of, I remember, some 22 people sitting in one room with a different expertise inside that. Okay, and I was basically, of course, in the verification side, developing things and telling them that it's not working. Okay, so I was a bad guy, but still it's not working. And we could see, I could see that how we fix one part, and in 22 days, okay, in the end we could tell the management that yes, we have achieved, but we can do the 5G call. Okay, we can have the 5G thing in 2019 actually. We could do that. Okay, so see, in 2018 it got introduced, and 2019 we had something which can work on 5G. Okay, and theoretically the speed can go to till 10 Gbps. Okay, and which is like like say in one movie, okay, is how much, like so maybe 2 GB, right? And when you say gigabit, so when you convert it into byte, so basically divide by 8, so like 1.25. Hence, like 1 second, so you click and you have one movie downloaded into your phone of good quality within a second. Okay, now if you go back to 2G in 1993 and you want to download 1.25 GB of data, just see what is the time requirement you need there. Okay, it's 1024 into 3. Okay, that many of a seconds you need to download it. Okay, that much of a speed. Okay, theoretically, telecommunication engineers have done it by the research, by the development. They have done till now. Okay, and you see to it, okay, that how it has impacted a society. Okay, I mean, I remember when I opened my bank account, one guy came to my office, and it's been like around some 5 years. I have not gone to into my branch. Okay, I have done everything from my phone. Okay, why can I do that? Because I have a connectivity to my bank. right? Now, I know many of people right now, okay, listening me on your phone. Okay, if you don't have a laptop, or by some chances you are away from your laptop, you might be using your phone, and that is possible. Okay, why? Because of this invention. Okay, you need something, you go to supermarket, and there you go and check the prices, that okay, iska price itna hona chahiye, and then basically you can bargain as well. Okay, that is possible because of the speed, right? You go somewhere, you take a video and you upload it, okay, and you can share with your friends, and you can be connected with the people. That is because of this development. Okay, so and this is not going to stop. And see, I mean, this has become, we all have become dependent on it now, right now. Okay, and just imagine, okay, I mean, you don't use your phone for, let's say, 1 week. Okay, I'm pretty much sure that many of 90% of you will get tempted to touch it. Okay, 90% of you. Okay, because it's addictive. Okay, and it's a fact. Okay, it's a fact. Plus, it has a requirement. That's another fact of it. Okay, it's a really requirement. Hence, getting a job in telecommunication is never going to stop. The reason being, this speed has to increase again. Okay, because tomorrow, okay, you guys are kind of like watching right now in HDs. All videos we should be in HD, right? Tomorrow we all be like, no, it should be in 4K. Okay. Now tomorrow I wanted to shoot my things in 4K. So the amount of data that you will be generating within a second is going to be quite high. Hence, there need to be the speed of higher speed to transmit it back, right? If you don't transmit, how can you communicate? Okay, hence this research has to go ahead. Okay, and when it has to go ahead, the jobs, the people, that requirement is always there. Agreed with me? Hence, I'm saying that it's not that it can be get killed in 1 day. Okay, it's not possible. Okay, this is all about the telecommunication, how things has been going. Okay, so I'll tell you that when I say jobs are there, it's there. Okay, I mean, only thing is that you have to just try, get prepared. I'm come to that section. That's going to be the next section about the jobs. What I wanted to talk about, how jobs has going to be, and where actually basically you can look into. Just a query. I mean, do you see that anything else you want me to talk about on this slide, or anything what I previously talked? Let me know. I'll start. Anything? No? Okay. So I'm taking answer as no. Let me share my screen again, and let me not duplicate it. Let me swap it. Yeah. Okay. So we have gone through this. Now the next is job opportunities. Okay, this is the one field I always wanted to kind of include this in this our presentation. The reason being, talking about things is not enough. Okay, you should also, I mean, get some pointers where you can actually look into, and what are the things possible. Okay, before even reaching to the job opportunities. Okay, you are in currently in a 4th year or 3rd year. You're doing your bachelor's. Okay, I'll suggest, if you like studying, and if you're good at studying, okay, look for masters. There's nothing wrong in that, and if you can afford it, and if you like it, it helps. It helps in career building. It helps in lot of things actually. Okay, it gives you the exposure to basically tomorrow become a PhD. Tomorrow you can become teacher. Okay, I mean, see, I mean, it's not limited to one thing. Okay, and there's a lot of always an options you get it. Okay, when you look for the options, right? So don't worry about it. Okay, and there's always a place of everything. Also, that's what I always believe. Okay, now when you come about the job opportunities, right? I mean, left side I have taken a lot of see the private companies are there. Okay, I mean, currently, if you see the market leader, okay, in a chipset, which in telecommunication chipset, that is Qualcomm. Okay, I mean, Intel sold their business to Apple. Hence, now it's actually Qualcomm. In earlier, it's also actually Qualcomm. Intel was always behind. So Qualcomm is a guaranteed market leader. Okay, where basically you can always look for the jobs. Like you can always look for firmware verification. You can always look for the validation engineer. You can always look for the VLSI engineer. Okay, and it's not like they don't take the bachelors. They do take the bachelors as well. Okay, only thing is that, I mean, you can always get in the contact with someone who are there, and if you can give your resume for maybe the reference or something, you can always come to me for Intel or Qualcomm, or maybe for Broadcom to Prashant or other guest who spoke, right? And see, I mean, it's nothing's wrong in asking. Okay, that's my answer. That's my always saying is, okay, see, you ask someone, he doesn't help you, it's okay, you don't lose anything, right? I mean, okay, you gave a request, respond, didn't come back. You ask someone and he helps you and you get with that, so you get a benefit, right? So what is the starting point is asking. Okay, and I mean, I have seen many people, okay, they have got it. Okay, they have got it in some companies. Okay, and there are many people who didn't get as well. Okay, so both are there. Okay, so always I'll suggest that look for the options, ask people. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, that someone might help me or what he will think about it. It's okay. I mean, doesn't help you. What's the problem? Okay, so you can always look at job in Qualcomm. Okay, then after Qualcomm, the second leader is currently it's MediaTek, right? In the telecommunication chips. Okay, so you can always look into the MediaTek. Okay, I mean, it's a decent company. Okay, I mean, what are the listed company? I'm giving you the left side. These are the big private companies. Okay, and list doesn't stop here. Okay, it goes along behind. Okay, but this is, I have just taken a few of them, so that you at least get a starting point that what type of company you should look. Okay, then you have a Samsung. Basically, Samsung has a diverse jobs. They have diverse product. I mean, they work in TV to phones to refrigerator. They have a lot of works they do research, they have production company, lot of companies they work in. Okay, so you can, in India, I mean, in the governments, I mean, they have a very good relation, and kind of they're gonna bring more company to India now. So a lot of options always comes with the Samsung. Okay, and Samsung is also a good place to actually to know if you're systematic to want to learn and all. It's a good company. I mean, they give a lot of for the employees to grow and all. They always give some exams and other stuff, and it helps in people to basically learn and grow. Okay, and Huawei you have. Okay, Huawei basically you can always these are telecom operator. Basically in India, I think it has a lot of issues with Huawei, but it's always I mean, possible actually. Then Ericsson you have Nokia, Intel, of course. I mean, not in the communication anymore field, but you can always go into the electronics field in Intel, like the processors. I mean, you need electronics engineer there, right? I mean, when you want to design it or you want to basically have the verification, anything, you need some electronics people always, like Broadcom always. I mean, I think Prashant had a lot of talk about it. So they're also see, Prashant also did EXTC. The only thing is that he studied networking and he went into inside it. So I mean, there's always a way. Okay, how do you start? And also you can reach to it. Okay, NVIDIA, they make a great graphics. Okay, I mean, and again, if you see the graphics, okay, and they make a great graphics, they make very good AI chips. Okay, and again, the possibility of job is here. Then you have LG Electronics, Havells, and Honeywell. I mean, and list doesn't stop. Okay, you need to look and try it out. Okay, send your resumes, ask for people. Okay, and keep in options. Try in one, doesn't work, another. Don't get disheartened. Okay, I remember, I mean, as I was told, right, masters, I was looking, I was kind of applying so many places I applied. Okay, many places I didn't get, and it's okay not to get it. Okay, I mean, that's not the end of the world, right? I mean, let's say if Qualcomm doesn't give me a job, that doesn't end the world. I mean, there's thousands of companies still there. So don't worry about it. Okay, try, ask, and that's all. You can always get it. Okay, now let's say, like, I mean, we don't get it in the big private companies. Okay, in the first shot. So what are the other options? Okay, you can always look in the contact with companies. Okay, like Sasuke, Global Edge, Mindtree, TMS Solutions. Okay, these guys are kind of what they do. They take up people. Okay, and they take a contract with, let's say, Intel. Okay, now they send their people to Intel to work. So whatever the technology, someone in Intel working, same technology, the Sasken guys also be working inside that. Okay, now Intel will pay to the Sasken, and Sasken will pay to that employee. Okay, so only payment kind of gets routed, and in that routing, Sasken earns some money. Okay, and this employee who is Sasken, he also get an opportunity to work at Intel, and Intel gets work done by someone which is like contract basis, so he doesn't have to worry about the employee much. Sasken has to worry about the employee. Okay, so this you see, everyone's happy. Okay, everyone's work is done. Okay, this is a strictly contract-based company, and where do we fit, and how this has helped us? Okay, first of all, we get a job. That's a great thing. Second, you get a work on a technology which is kind of booming, or which is great in a company, great in a market right now. Okay, and third, when you work good in some company, suppose you're working good in, let's say, in some team of the Qualcomm, and that manager likes you, that the way you are doing it. Okay, there's always a possibility that you resign from the Sasken and join directly to the Qualcomm. Okay, and this has happened. This happens. Okay, I'm just giving you one example of Qualcomm. It's like I'm just giving the normal example, but this happens a lot in industry. Okay, so and then you directly became a Qualcomm employee then. Okay, and once you become a Qualcomm employee, then no one asks you back. Okay, that how much marks you got in BTech, which college you're coming from the BTech. Okay, you're not from IIT. No, we don't take notes. It doesn't work like that. Okay, once your experience grows, okay, the marks what you got in college, the college which you belongs to, the kind of the importance of that reduces, and your experience importance increases that time. Okay, hence I was saying that start with something, and then start looking for also the bigger ones. Okay, if you see the Abhishek Rao's example, I mean, he started working in some startup, then he slowly moved to some other company, then slowly he moved to the Benz. Now he went to the Benz. He then, after that, if suppose he shift to some other company, no one will ask him that how much marks you got it and which college he belongs to. Okay, so that's what happens always. Okay, keep yourself open for the options. Always, keep yourself option. When you have the options, you can always, do things in the way you like it. Okay, you can always look for better ones. As you go ahead. Okay, these are the contract companies. I have not listed software companies. Okay, I mean, there's a plenty of software companies as well. Okay, which is service-based company, and I mean, it's not bad. Okay, I mean, frankly speaking, if I would have got in Intel, I would have working in Research Instrument or in Infosys somewhere. But do something. Okay, I mean, try and do something. Get it. If you like coding, why not? Go hit. It's people have seen growing. I have seen people coming from the communication domain, and they have done a lot of better work in telecommunication field. And I have seen people going from telecommunication field, they have done very good job in in AI or in basically in other fields like software engineering, in the matter of that security. So don't restrict yourself with only one options. Okay, if you see the company is good, if you see that you can do it, interdisciplinary doesn't matter. I mean, see the guy, I think second richest now, again back to Tesla owner. Okay, he comes from the electrical background, right? And he designs cars. Okay, see he runs SpaceX. Okay, I mean, there's no relation between electrical, right? I mean, but how can he do that? Because it's always takes some challenge. Okay, and he always takes some challenge, and he always grow on that, right? I mean, so don't be afraid. Okay, I mean, if you think that you can do it, go for it. Okay, and some people who are interested in government jobs, I mean, as we know, it's secure. It's, I mean, a lot of perks you get it in government jobs. So you can always look in these companies like ISRO, DRDO, BIL, HAL, SAIL, NTPC, Airport Authority. I know a lot of people who have joined Airport Authority, and it's quite a good job actually, Airport Authority. So, but these, I mean, there's no reference, nothing works here. You just have to look into their portal whenever the application comes, you have to fill. It takes a few years actually to get into this, and that too if you're lucky, and because there's a lot of conditions applies in the government companies, right? So, but if you are really interested, and if you think that you can crack it, I mean, if you have, because they have some some pattern of exams, right? I mean, and if you can, if you think that you can do it, you're welcome. There's options. I just want to tell you that. And then what are the jobs you have it here, right? You can always, this is a few only I have listed, which I could remember in a short time. So like telecommunication engineer, of course, like you can go back to, if you have to map it, then you can map to the Qualcomm, MediaTek, Samsung, Ericsson, Nokia. You can map to these companies, right? You can become a telecommunication any of these company, right? And you can always become a research and development. Okay, these companies, okay, like okay, so there's always a two part of a companies. Like I said, three part in the big picture. Okay, one, they do research. They tell what can we do, okay, by doing the research, and the failure is accepted here. Second is about the development. Okay, so whatever the researchers told that, and they have to code and make the things done in that way. Third, they have to read what researcher told and what you have done. Okay, the developers, and they have to come here and say that, oh, okay, this is not correct. You should fix this, and we should do this way. Okay, this is the basic layout of any product or any development you do in the world, actually, right? So there's always a research and development field which is on the top of it, which needs people to do the research in that particular field. Okay, and that's also the options you have it. Okay, I mean, network planning engineers are required. Like suppose some signals are not coming. Do you really need to put basically towers there or not? Can you handle it some other way? Okay, so those things requires your expertise in RF. You require expertise in analog signals, right? And so those, your communication backgrounds helps there to do that. Okay, firmware engineers, I mean, the firmware basically means that any hardware, right, you have it, you write some software on top of it to make things work. Okay, that's nothing but a firmware engineers, right? And any chip, right? Suppose if I talk about the chip design, right? Now you designed a chip, okay, but after that, how it works, okay, that need to be written as a software on top of it. Okay, need to be fed into it. Okay, that is called firmware engineers. Now that job is always there, because when you write what to be done, you need to understand the technology, you need to understand the telecommunication field. Hence, a firmware engineer job. And if you see the Qualcomm portal, MediaTek portal, you will find plenty of firmware engineer jobs available there. Okay, so you can always look into that. Okay. And I said, right, don't restrict to the only the big companies. Okay, if you see the firmware engineering job in some small companies, work for 1-2 years and get experience, move it to big companies if you like. Okay, that's always there. Okay, and everyone knows that. Okay, and system works like this way. Okay, then you have the validation engineer. Okay, as I said, and you always need the layer below which tells what is right, what is not right, how it can be done. That's a validation engineer, right? So you can always do that. System is basically which looks at the complete system. Okay, I mean, let's say some issue is coming and developer doesn't know. I mean, not able to figure it out. The verification is really not able to point it out. Then the system just comes to the picture, and they really look into the each stacks, each options, and then they point to the point. Okay, here we have the problem. Okay, so they have the kind of overall knowledge of a system, but they generally don't code that much. Okay, coding is not required that much there, right? But you have to study a lot, so you understand a complete system, right? Then VLSI designer, of course, to design a chip, to do the VHDL or Verilog modification or the implement of the design. You always have to know the basics. Okay, the CMOS and all those stuff. So VLSI designers come into that category. They design the chips. And of course, the satellite communication also, they need the background of communication to be done. And these are the few. Okay, there will be, and there are always more than this available. Okay, so whole point is that I mean, look yourself, okay, as a guy, and you have these many options, and you need only one job where you can fit yourself, only one. Okay, and for example, let's say you have so many small holes, and you want to throw one ball. There's a high probability that you'll throw somewhere. Okay, whatever your liking is there, whatever you think that you can do it in a better way, wherever you think that you can crack your exams, in the interviews in a good way, you can always shift your attention towards that and get it done. Okay, and it's possible. Okay, and thousands of lakhs of people are doing each year. So why not you? You can also do it. Okay, believe in yourself. I mean, I always say that. I mean, if you believe in yourself, you can always do that. Okay, try for it. Okay, Next is how do you prepare for a job? Okay, I just wanted to tell you what I feel, because okay, so being in 5 to 6 years in industry, I got an opportunity while being in Intel to take some of the interviews. While I was in 4G or 5G, I was taking some interviews because 5G is a lot of work. Okay, I mean you really need a lot of people, and hence our team was needing a lot of people, and hence I had to do number of interviews that time. And when I shifted to my next project also, we were needing people, so I had to do the interview. So what I see basically, okay, when I meet and when I give my ratings to my higher management, that okay, you should consider us, or should you consider him for the next round or not, is only I look in these 4 things. Okay, if you are good in these 4 things, most likely you will reach to the another interviews pocket, and most likely might get a job as well. Okay. The first one, okay, which is very important. Okay, that's called basics. Okay, let's say, I mean, you got a time to study in college for 4 years. Okay, now, and I ask you a question. Can you tell me what is modulation? Why do you need modulation? Okay, why carrier frequency is higher? Okay, why frequency modulation came into picture? What is the problem with AM modulation? Okay, why OFDM is required? How OFDM can be used? Why peak to power ratio is high in OFDM? Okay, these are the questions. Okay, which is quite basics to communication. Okay, now if you're not able to give these answers, okay, then the problem starts. What problem start? Okay, if let's say if I'm an interviewer, okay, the first thought comes that something which you should have learned, okay, in 4 years, okay, and these are the very basics points. If you don't understand, if I hire in my company, what is the probability that you will work the way company needs it, and what is the requirement we have it, you will do that. Because the requirement, what is the requirement study? The requirement study is that you study the subjects which are assigned by the university or college, right? Now, while doing that, you didn't understand these basics. Okay, why should I hire you? It's very simple logic. It's you can relate to yourself to it, right? Now, hence you get out of it. People don't take you if you don't answer these questions. Okay, these are the very basic question. And even actually, I mean, it's a truth actually. I have asked these questions to the people whom I have interviewed. Okay, and many of them haven't answered it. That's a problem I have it, of course. Okay, they have the communication certificates, but they do not know why OFDM is used. Why peak-to-peak ratio is used. Why if you split data into the different frequencies, okay, how it helps your data transmission. Okay, I mean, these are what I say, okay, if you're cooking, let's say, if you're cooking, you say you're a chef, okay, and you want to cook, let's say, semia today, okay, and you do not know that, what is texture of milk, okay, how can you really hire in my hotel? No, if you do not know, how milk looks like, you're gonna probably make something which gonna, make my hotel shut down, right? And that's the basics. What I want to tell you, that you have to understand, okay, that what is the basics of the communication, and these are the basics. Okay, when you talk about, okay, and like you don't understand like complete model of, let's say you don't remember the complete channels, okay, but you should always understand what is frequency correction. You should always understand what is sync channel, okay, why it's required, okay, I mean, why frequency correction is needed. So I mean, these are the very basics that you should always understand. Okay, what is the Doppler effect? Okay, why OFDM is bad for the Doppler effect, why it acts as badly, why ISI reduces in OFDM. Okay, and why I'm talking more about OFDM is the reason being OFDM is it's one of the best, I can say, the inventions what we have in communication. If you see, 4G and 5G has been heavily dependent on OFDM. Okay, hence the questions grows in that. Okay, now so let's say if you go for a signal processing, okay, you have to understand what FFT means. Okay, why FFT is needed. Okay, these are the basics. Okay, learn for this. Okay, even let's say, I mean, if you're going for some interviews, and first of all look for the profile, what kind of things that guy needs, and always go back and just read it. Okay, I mean, you might have studied sometime, and sometimes it's just don't come up, but just read through it. Okay, once again, and go with this. That's the basics. Okay, always try to stick to the basics, learn about it. And if you don't give the big answers, right, I always consider it like, you don't know how to design complete network structure. It's okay, no one expects that. I'm not ever going to do that. Okay, I mean, if you understand this basics, you can always do that. That's the idea in the industry. Okay, the second thing is about the coding. Okay. I didn't like coding initially when basically I started my career. Even when I was in college, I mean, I kind of always liked I had a lot of interest in RF as well. Okay. I mean, I want to do something in RF, but things didn't work out that way. But it's okay. I mean, things doesn't work out the way always you want it. It's okay to have like that way. Okay. But piece of advice, because I mean, I'm already here. You still have a time basically to learn it. Like if you're a first year student or you're second year student or even third year student, even matter of fact a fourth year student, still you have a time basically that you can learn a coding. Okay, what are basically coding? What you have to do? Okay, I mean, see, if you look for the communication jobs, okay, I mean, people is gonna ask you about C++. Simple. If you go for the pure firmware development. Okay, if you go for embedding, okay, people are going to ask you system C. Okay, these are the fundamentals. Even let's say if you don't know system C and you tell him that, hey, I know C++, but people might consider you for even the system C. The reason being, if you understand C++, he understands, okay, he has a logic. How can he write a test case in C++? He can always do things in system C. And same goes with Python. Okay, if you know C++, I mean, because I know when I shifted my next project, that requirement was Python. Okay, pure Python. I had to write codes, and I didn't know the Python at all because I never learned it. Okay, but I had learned Java because my previous work was native Java. So the interviewer took my whole interview in Java, and he said, it's okay, you know Java, I know Python can be done. Okay, that always works. Okay, interviewer always asks you that what language you know. And once he understands that you know this particular language, he will mostly have fair understanding of language because he's interviewed, so he should have that knowledge, and he will mostly ask a question in that, and if you're good in that and at least decent in that, okay, he will consider you. So suppose, I mean, oops, right? I mean, and someone asks you like, I mean, oops, I mean, what is oops? Why it's used? Okay, how it helps? Like why, you need to have the header files. Why do you source it? Why you don't basically, how do you basically kill any memory? How memory can be, utilized? How you can leak a memory in system? These are the few basics actually when you start doing codings, right, in C++. You have to understand these things. Okay, if you understand and see basics in coding, I see 85% of things is done. Okay, for your job. Okay, third one is about talking. Basically, we're talking, and I didn't mean that too much talking. I basically meant that communication skills here. Okay, you need to have a not a great communication skill, but you need to have a decent communication skills. Okay, why I basically mean the decent communication skill is that. I mean, you do something and you know something, but if you cannot pass it to the second one and you cannot basically express yourself to the management or colleague, then you become a problematic piece in a game, right? I mean, example. I mean, let's say I mean, a lot of people might have watched cricket, right? I mean, there's a one guy who retired, and let's say there's a no option, like you cannot take the another runner to run your, and you have a cramp and you're running. See, the scoreboard is going to go down, right? Because if 2 runs someone scores, you might run for only 1 run, right? And you're lingering, you're kind of making your test, your match to fail, right? So talking is something similar to that. Okay, talking basically means that whatever you know and whatever you want to communicate, you communicate in a good fashion. Okay, you talk to people, you can talk to people in good way. I mean, you have a sense of talking. Okay, sense of talking basically means that there's a lot of things that that can be said to your friend, but that shouldn't be said to the colleague, and because that's a company. Okay, so you have the sense of what to talk to people. Okay, how you basically communicate your ideas to your management. Okay, these are the few things that you should know, and it's not great. It's not something that that you cannot do that. I mean, if you can speak decent English and you have a sense of your surrounding, you can always take care of this part. Okay, so just put a little bit work on that. Okay, I mean, in the interviews, right, if you talk in a very confident manner, right, people you always, the interview get it's impression that okay, you know things. Okay, and that happens, and I think that has worked a lot for me as well, because in I got a lot of marks in Vivas. Maybe the reason was that. Okay, one reason was that, and it helps in really in jobs as well. Okay, the next one is a processor. What basically I mean by processor is that, I mean, when you have to do something, right, I mean, things kind of changes. Okay, I mean, when you go to the company, it's not always that what you have learned 100% getting utilized. Okay, just 5 to 10% get utilized. New things will come. So try to adapt that things with you, right? Okay, I mean, suppose you get something, okay, you have to work on that. Okay, I can do in that also. Okay, don't get static, be dynamic. Okay, be dynamic, become a processor. You get some input, process it, and then feed it to get a result out of it. I mean, very simple example, right? I mean, our brains has has the same content, all of us, right? But someone is successful, someone is not. Okay, let's say, suppose if you're born in Maharashtra, right, most likely you will speak Marathi. If you're born in Gujarat, most likely you will speak Gujarati, right? Why it's like that? Okay, see, I mean, the speaking is same. Okay, only the content what process out, that is different. And that's how I say the great thing about the brain, right? It's not static, it's meant to be the dynamic. Okay, be yourself also dynamic. I mean, you get new opportunities, you get something exciting, something which can be in future. Okay, something that you have not done but you think that you can do, go for it. Okay, do your best, and I'm sure that if you put your efforts, everything is possible. It's very simple. Okay, so that can also you can also be little be dynamic. Okay, these are 4 things I see, but always you see the higher weightage I always give to the basics and codings. Okay, it's required. Okay, no matter you go where, you have to write things. Okay, I mean, you have to write things on computer itself. I mean, it is like that. Even let's say I have been so much doing things in communication, I go to 3GPP, I read 4G spec, I read 5G specs. Sometimes let's say 20% of time goes in that, but after reading I have to always come back and write those things in my coding. And coding, basically, like how channels should work, how channels should not work, what are the limitations of it, what is book, what is, I mean, these all things are required. Okay, so the coding is essentials actually. Okay, so try to prepare your things in this way, and you will be successful. I mean, there's nothing rocket science again to do this. Okay, with this I kind of conclude my presentation. I would like to take questions, whatever you have it. Please shoot. Okay, how did you prepare for the GATE exams? Okay, that's the first question by Avijit. Okay, good question actually, and it was I was quite lucky actually. Okay, I will tell you short about how I have been doing things. So I mean, after 12th, I don't belong to a very rich family or so. Okay, I mean, I had to take a home loan, but I didn't take actually. Okay, I didn't get actually. I should say like that way. Okay, I tried, but I didn't get. The reason being that. Our bank guy said that the place where you stay we don't give loans to those places. Okay, I used to stay in Narasapura that time. They were like, and I used to stay in some chawl area that time, and they were like, no, we don't give in those areas. Doesn't it can become an NPA to us, so we don't give. And I was like, okay, fine. So they did give the money, and hence I took my parents somehow manage it. So I always wanted to actually, kind of get some money, generate some money in my pocket, right? And hence what I did, I started teaching in classes. Okay, so as soon as I completed my first year, our timing, right? I mean, around 9 to 4:30 or 5, I think we have timing. So I used to, reach Narasapura, I think 5:30 or 6:30 around that time, and that while going back before home, I had these classes on the way. So there I used to teach to the 11th student and sometimes 12th standard students as well. Okay, and that helped me actually. Okay, when I used to, taught them for, let's say, 3 years, like second year, third year, and fourth year. Actually, I was 3 years. I was teaching to them 11, 12 standard students. So the basics of, let's say, maths, even the physics was kind of get always refreshed. Always had a refresh of that. And also after that, I kind of when I was, I think, in the last year of my engineering, I should not say that, but I used to bunk my half period for the Mondays. Okay, Mondays I generally used to bunk half periods, and used to go to sometime library, and sometime I go to home and I used to study only for the GATE. But it was very systematic. Okay, that bunk was very systematic. It was not like a real bunk. I was studying. That's why I was bunking it. Okay, so I was studying actually. So don't take it bunk and go. Like if I'm studying, it's sometimes acceptable. Something acceptable in that case. So that's how I actually prepared for my GATE. Okay, Manjushri, how did you manage getting into master as soon as the computer? Yeah, that's the same answer, I think, Manju. While I was doing my BTech, I had what I did for getting some money that kind of helped me for getting prepared myself, and hence I kind of got a decent mark in GATE, and so getting into the masters, immediately after that. Shivam, for B fresher, what other than basic is required to get into the either Intel or Qualcomm, because they mostly prefer people with experience? Okay, Shivam. So that's true. What you're saying, it's true. Okay, Intel, or matter of the fact that Qualcomm, they looks for the experience. Okay, but it's not like that. They don't take the freshers. Okay, I have seen they take the freshers. Okay, but directly, if you apply from outside, you get it. It's quite tough. Okay, how I got it? If you see in the Intel, or I know someone like Qualcomm, they go for the internship. Okay, so don't kind of underestimate the internship. Internship is very, very good in current situation. Okay, if you get an internship, people understand how do basically you do things. Then it becomes very less relevant that you belongs to which college and you are a fresher in that time. If you do good work at that time, there's a high probability that people will take you. Okay, so look for internship. That's answer I can give it to you. Himanshu, what is the scope of software development in hardware developing company? Okay, so software development. Okay, so basically this is the answer to the one point I took it. That was about firmware engineers, right? Whenever any hardware gets designed, right, you always has to write software on top of it so that hardware works. For example, let's say even a CPU, right? In CPU you have the processor, right? Now, if you just manufacture a process and if you don't put into something to it, okay, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. Okay, let's say it has let's say NAND gates, AND gates, and all those, right? But how those gates should work, how those gates should really take care, signally passing, taking care of interrupts, all those things need to be written in a code in a software which get pushed into the hardware. Okay, hence you always have the scope of software development on a hardware developing company as well. And all hardware developing company needs a software guy. There's no escaping. They read it, otherwise it cannot be done. There's no hardware actually, otherwise if you don't have a software. Okay, so both are related. Prashant, what is the work of software developer in hardware-oriented semiconductor? Is it to develop assembly machine language for the specifications? Yes, one thing. Yes, it's actually So see, you write something in C. So basically, you create a firmware and you push it into the your chip. Okay, so that's the same. Actually, the question what Himanshu has asked, and that's how basically the semiconductor industry completely works. Okay, so yes, you need to write a code, but you don't actually code generally in assembly. You code it in C++ and get converted, and then it pushed down to the machine language, and it goes translated down the line. So in Intel, a big name in technology world, how was your interview and your approach towards Intel Corporation? Okay, so how was my interview? That was quite funny actually. I wasn't actually invited for the interview when I had for my internship interview. So I got to know around 1 hour before when my interview is there for the internship. But I was like, okay, let me give a try. Anyway, there's no harm, right? As I told you, right? I always has that approach that if I don't get it, it's okay for me. But there's no harm in giving a try. You give a try, you don't get it, it's okay. Simple answer. Okay. So for that thought, I went there, and it was quite okay. The reason being why it's okay, that the people who come for the interview, right? They have also gone through the BTech, masters, getting into jobs, so they understand, okay, that when you are in masters or you are in BTech, what will the level of knowledge you would be pursuing that time. Okay, so they have that idea. Okay, so they don't ask you just to show off that what they know. So for me, actually, if you see, they asked me the very basics. Okay, for example, they started with the question, even I remember today, that what is communication and how communication is done. Can you just suppose if I layman, how do you answer? Okay, that let's say if I have to, communication has to be done. Okay, in digital communication or analog communication, how should I really think about? Okay, then I give an example. Okay, let's say suppose if someone has to travel from let's say Virar to Churchgate, I take train. So my train is nothing but my carrier, and I am actually the signal there, which is more important. Okay, and the same goes with the communication, right? You take some 10 gigahertz, 20 gigahertz signals, you take it, put it on some higher frequency and transmit it. Now you remove that big guy and you take what you like. Okay, so that's how the communication, that's what the first question he asked me, and then he went into a little deeper into this. So what I basically meant is that the interviews are not rocket science. They won't ask you. They always ask you the basics and normal questions. Okay, so prepare for that. And there's a high probability that you can get into that. Abhijit, so did you leave a particular subject or prepared a particular subject more than others for GATE? I don't think so. I'm not sure. Actually, what I remember, I think I kind of prepared most of it. I remember I had one big book. I don't remember the name as such, and I was kind of preparing through that. And I had a kind of maybe diverse, liking the subject. So I was doing kind of everything. Most of the things I covered. But for the particular, if you have a subject, maybe you can talk to someone who is more expert about preparing for the GATE. For me, if you ask, then I don't think so. As today's scenario, going to core jobs like communication is very tough. So to do one need to do masters, or one can go to core by entering into the corporate sector. Okay, so Himanshu, this question is quite specific to the person. Okay, if you see me, I always wanted to do masters. Okay, hence I went for the masters. Okay, but I know a lot of people they wanted to do job. So if you think that you like job, you should go to some companies. If you get a product based big companies, great. Okay, if you don't get it, go into some small companies which does the job which big guys are, big companies you will be targeting in future. Do very good job there, learn as much as you can, and though no one can stop you to getting in the big companies. Because let's say even let's say I am hiring, and suppose someone coming from the small, I actually never look even that, suppose someone's coming to a small company or big company. Okay, if I see he has a decent amount of experience and he knows things which I am looking for my job, which I know the work he's gonna do, people hire you. Okay, so it's up to you. If you like to go to masters, go and do it. But if you like to do job, then start doing it. Both is fine actually. Okay, any other questions? Okay, no, I think. Great, I hope you would have liked the session. Anyone can ask anything, or maybe any sir can talk about it. Anything, just a free discussion. Okay, Shivam, I think I have one more question. Actually, there was a vacancy of Intel with a recent resume and a good number of projects. I tried applying, but no reply. Okay, that happens. Okay, that happens, Shivam. Because the thing is that, right? There's a lot of people applies. Okay, let's say not a single people apply for a given company. There's plenty of people applies. In that case, there's a high probability that sometime you might not get a reply back. But don't worry about it. Maybe that job was already been taken, or sometime job vacancies get even removed because of a lot of internal reasons. So in those cases also, don't worry about it. You can always apply in some other option you see, or maybe you can, in that cases, maybe you can reach to me if you're talking about the Intel. I can always forward your resume to Intel, and it gives little, like 0.1 possibility that maybe extra that, they might look into it. So I can always refer whoever, if you need in Intel, or maybe in matter of fact Qualcomm also, if you're looking, then I can always have make you contact to someone, my friend, so he can always give you the resume, and then after that we have to see that if your resume is good, and if the person is really liking, then he can always come and give you go for the interview. Okay, so thank you. This much from my side. I hope you guys have enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Now, as we know, every beginning has an end. So here we are at the end of our series of Alumni Talk. Let me take the honor of saying thank you to each and everyone who was involved in planning, executing, and turning this event into great success. With this, I would like to heartily thank Mr. Thakur sir for taking some of his his time out and sharing all of his experiences and his valuable guidance with us. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Nandini. Thanks to you all for listening. I hope it helps.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay.
Now I would like to request all the students to turn their camera on as we want to take some photos for this session. Students, yeah.
Jay, so maybe you can stop talking.
Tushar sir, why is you in so much of darkness?
Actually, without the curtain.
Jai sir, you can stop presenting so we can just take the photos properly. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Nandini, can I share something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you can share.
Okay, dear student, just I want to add something to whatever the Jay has shared with us. Actually, about the Jay, I taught him 2 subjects in final year. Am I right, Jay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Yes, Jay was supposed to sit on the first bench, and Jay, you have not shared your gate marks actually exactly.
No, I mean, it was okay. I mean, I think some 140 something, I think 146 something. I think so.
Yes, he got, I think, a 99 percentile in the regular 8th semester. And the tragedy also with Jay in the last semester about the wireless network subject.
Yes.
Yes. Guys, you can't believe that NIT has hold 1 seat for Jay Thakur.
Took for a long time, actually. That took for a long time. I was actually in the end. Yeah, I was in the end like, okay, I'm not going to get admission. It's going to get cancelled.
Yes, NIT, they have hold 1 admission for Jay Thakur based on his performance and all.